Good afternoon, lovely people. How are you all today? I do hope you're well. It's a bit warm again. Oh my goodness. We'll go outside in a second, obviously. But you're going to get the idea from my last few garden videos. I think this light is an issue again, isn't it? Let's move around a bit. Oh, clank watering cans. Yeah, you're going to get the idea that it's permanent summer here at the moment. It isn't. Obviously, when it's a good day, I try to make the most of it and get to the garden, get on with things. But we have had quite a few grey, damp days in between. So, of course, I get on with things at home. I was not expecting this today, though. God, it's gorgeous. Yay! Did I say good morning at the top of the video? I meant to say good afternoon. It's just gone noon already. I've been yapping. My next door neighbour turned up. She who is also a sports nut. And it's the first time I've seen her since the US Open, the finals. And it was so fun because after I'd seen her on the Saturday before the final was played in the evening, I was saying, you know, I never watch the US Open because it's pay per view. You have to buy, you know, one of these packages, what have you. And of course I don't. Frugal girl, I go without, just read the headlines the next day. So I'd had all day at the garden and she'd left a bit earlier than me, but I was like, yeah, enjoy the match. I got home, I think it was about 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and she said, Vivi, it's on Freeview tonight. I was like, yay! What was so funny was, over the next hour or so, my phone didn't stop beeping with text messages, and my computer didn't stop pinging with messages via Facebook of friends and family all getting in touch to tell me that the match was on Freeview that evening and I could watch it. Yay! They know me so well. So it's lovely just now. I need to get on with the garden. But it was great to chew the fat, dissect, analyse the match, and chat a little bit about the men's, which I didn't see because it wasn't on Freeview. But yeah, fantastic. Now, today, I've got my list. I've checked it twice. Somebody knows if I'm naughty or nice. Naughty or nice. I'm a bit of both. It's quite a long list. So, for the next, this is going to be the case, I think. Where are we? It's the middle of September. I think it's about the 17th today. For the next 6 weeks or so, it's going to be pretty much the same for me every time I come to the garden. It's going to be a combination of harvesting, get the stuff home, get it all podded, even if it means podding at midnight or whatever it is I've brought home. So harvesting and just beginning to tuck the garden up, because before we know it, it will be winter. So, you know, just taking out plants that have died right back, getting things chopped up, composted, used as mulch, what have you, what have you. Today, I think for my first job, because I am lacking in mulch, I really want to get something sorted on that front soon. I'm going to, oh, it's suddenly clouded over, did you see the light change? I'm going to strim and trim all those trimmings, my edges. It won't be a huge amount, but pick it all up, that can be used as a mulch. With the strimming, sorry, out the corner of my eye through the shed window, I could just see Rosie toddling off. Poppy's on the step, Rusty's on the seat. I've lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, strimming. So, the path next to the cold frame, not the compost bin side, the squash bed side, I had managed to, I was going to say hoover, strim underneath the lavender before I harvested the lavender. Bit of a rough strim. But the rest of that path, the grass is really long and straggly where it's been swamped by the squash, etc. And I want to get that cut down now to give the grass a chance to recover before winter, because it's so long and straggly. It's sort of like, in a way, it's like plants getting leggy or seedlings getting leggy and weak. So I want to give it a trim now it'll be really kind of pale and pathetic, but it'll have a chance to recover, because for the next 6 weeks or so we still have quite good amount of light. We're getting warmth, we are getting rain. It must have rained last night, I don't realise, but the ground is wet. Hey buddy, was that nice? So yeah, do all my strimming and trimming first. And you know, with the grass paths, look, it ain't Wimbledon out there. It's not a fancy lawn. My paths have all sorts of weeds in. Dandelions, daisies, clover, plantains. It doesn't bother me. Most of those, I will let them flower because the bees enjoy them. But before they go to seed, I try to get rid of them, especially the dandelions. But yeah, they're not any beautiful lawns, but they do work really hard for me, so I do like to take care of them. I will probably give them all their last strim mid-November-ish, and then just leave them alone for the whole winter. Oh, bear with me a second. Oh, that's a lovely start to my session. Yeah, my neighbour's just brought 3 spare, I was going to say cukes, not cukes, squash, not squash. What am I trying to say, Rusty? Oh, can you hear him purring? Courgettes. Yeah, so I'll give it its last strim around about beginning to middle of November, then just leave it all alone over winter, because I'm not in the garden so much over the winter, of course, but I'm here at least once a week to do some harvesting, sometimes a bit of maintenance, what have you. And I'll leave them alone probably into March. I leave them a little bit longer, the grass a little bit longer over the winter, just because they can get a bit muddy, that wear. It's just a bit more kind of cushioning almost. But yeah, like I say, the paths, it ain't Wimbledon, but it pays me to look after them. They're a living environment. There are all sorts of critters that rely on my grass paths for food, shelter, what have you. I rely on them for walking up and down, so yeah, it's worth giving them a bit of attention. So the first job is going to be the random cuke, the self-seeded cuke that's headed towards the cold frame. I think it's done now, so I'll have that out and see if I can, there might be some spare nasturtiums I can get out of the way, see if I can get to that path and get it cut down a bit, give it some time to recover before it gets its final cut for the winter. So I might just have to stay here a little while and give cuddles to this one. Hey buddy. Oh, he's doing this into the cushions. Is that nice? He's such a distraction. Right, out into the garden and let's see what I can do about this cuke. Not cuke. Yes, cuke. Goodness me. I don't think my pot has ever been so messy. Ever. It's fine. It's productive. But yeah, oh, missed 2 cukes. Yeah, it's really messy, but it's been productive. That's great. But I do want to try and just get on top of things a bit now. So, first things first, the self-seeded cuke out, and then that will uncover this bit of path at least. The bit behind me, I can't get to it. But in about, well, over the next 4 weeks or so, all of this foliage is going to die back. It's squash foliage, butternut squash. It'll all be gone. So I'll still have time before we start getting short daylight hours, much colder, etc., etc. I'll still have time to tackle the grass there. Oh, this is a monster. What a whopper. Oh my goodness. Happy self-seeder. In fact, I think what I'm going to do... I'm going to get out of here to chop it up. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Chop, strim, what to do first? I'm going to get this chopped. I won't keep you here all that time though, because that'll be a bit boring, won't it? There you are. The other possibility with the squash foliage is, if it doesn't show any signs of dying back too soon, one of the things I might do is, where I have got all my fruits have formed, is just cut the foliage back where the fruits are, let them get this last bit of sun in the next sort of 3 or 4 weeks to help ripen them. I mean, I think they're all well on their way to being ripe and pickable, but yeah, if they stay crowded out by foliage, I can always trim the foliage back just a little bit to expose them to this last bit of sun. And look forward in a few weeks to get them all ripped out and revealing all of the weeds and all of my mud paths. Oh my goodness, I've never had so much grass in my mud paths. Never mind. Right, let me get this chopped and then we can come back and start to tackle this path a bit and all the others. Right. Shall I move that squash a little? That's one of the Rouge 50 Tomp, right up against the edge of the path. Here we go. Okay, so I need to get my trimmers. Hang on a tick. That's a little bit rough and ready. Yeah, it's definitely rough and ready, but that'll do for now. And then in a couple of weeks' time, when I do all the paths again, I can just take it down a little bit shorter. I just don't want to do too much today. I don't want to give it too much of a shock, but now I can get in with the edging shears and begin, oopla, you're in the way, begin to sort these edges out a bit. Now folk often say to me, oh, do I need to sharpen my edges? Oh, I think I need to sharpen. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, folk often say, why do I use the hand shears and not just turn the strimmer head over and around? Thing is, using the shears when they're sharp, oh no, they're really blunt. That's it. I like using the edging shears because they're quiet. It's a bit of an upper body workout. More than that, as I'm quietly going along, I'm looking into my beds. Oh, I think that was an ant nest. Yeah, as I'm quietly going along, I can look into the beds and see what's going on. So for instance, right here in front of me, it's the Coco de Paimpol bed. And I can see that there are beans to harvest. Woohoo! Great. Oh, I need to sharpen my I was hoping to do the whole garden today. Edge everything. I'll still give it a go. But now, you see all of this, the strimmings, both the strimming, oh la la, all of that strimming, and the edges. This is all going to make some lovely mulch, either mulch or compost, whatever, but all of this fantastic material, give it to the garden rather than leave it for all the slugs and snails to hide in. Crikey, I've got my work cut out today, haven't I? And it's warm again. Oh, hello plants. Haven't seen you for a while. Right. Let me go and trim and trim the rest of the garden and then tackle a job in the next bed over. Goody good. Oh, I'm a bit fed up. I had a sneaking suspicion this would happen today. So annoying. One of the reasons I was so late, excuse me, I was so sweaty. One of the reasons I was so late getting down here this morning is because my right knee was so bad this morning. It just took me ages to get going, and I've done some gentle physio this morning at home, just trying to move it, get it moving. And I honestly thought I wasn't going to come to the garden at all today. And then I thought, no, there's stuff to do, just get moving, you'll be fine once you get moving. It's killing me now. So I've just done all the trimming, and I came for a sit outside the shed, and it's like, you know, you want to bite your own fist from the pain. There's no point in me trying to do all the edges and the whole list of my jobs for today, apart from the harvesting. All of the jobs they're all up on my feet. Turn the compost, take down the cucumber frame, all that manner of things. So it's one of those days, and I think as gardeners we really learn to do this anyway, or we need to try to learn to do it. It's all about being flexible. I don't mean in the joints, although that helps. I mean flexible up here. So that if we're planning to do one job, and let's say, you know, for instance, like harvesting the lavender, and actually it turns into, it's a bit of a drizzly, damp day. It's not wet enough to keep you out of the garden, but it's obviously not the right day to harvest the lavender. You think, okay, well, that will be another day. Instead, I will do X, Y, Z that the drizzle doesn't affect. So, yeah, I'm a bit gutted. I went to bed last night. I was actually feeling quite excited for today because it's a great list of proper doing, tidying stuff, but there's no point. I'm going to be in tears in half an hour if I carry on. However, coming back to the flexibility, all is not lost, because just as I was showing you a second ago when I was trimming that little bit of edge near to the squash cold frame area, I spotted there are Coco de Paimpol ready to harvest, so let's go and pick some. Also, I was just out there now finishing the trimming and thought, that's it, quit, do some picking, go home. I had a quick look at the Gigantes beans, and when was it, 2-3 days ago when I was last here, loads of them to pick, and I thought, brilliant. Scarily, amazingly, there's tons of them have dried already. I think pretty much every bean in the garden has dried. There are a few Gigantes, and I really, really, really want to get some of them for demi-sec and the Coco de Paimpol. So, the Gigantes is a stand-up job. I'm going to leave that till the end. But for now, it's so frustrating. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. so what if I don't do any tidying today? It's definitely something I've had to learn this year, is just don't worry about how the garden looks. Just look after the plants. I don't want the weeds to choke my plants out, but fortunately most of the weeds are in my little mud paths. Yeah, it's frustrating, it's a bother. All is not lost though. I'll do a really big pick now, get them home, and then I'll spend the rest of the day podding. That's fine. I'll take them home to pod. I'm not going to stay here. I want to get home. I've got drugs at home. And the other thing I need to remember, well, I won't forget, because my granny trolley is full of pods from the, what beans did I pick? Runner beans and the Churchill Blacks. The Churchill Blacks, by the way, what a gorgeous bean. Huge, absolute whoppers, jet black, shiny, gorgeous. All right then, come on, I'm not going to be a misery guts. Let's get back into the garden and let's see what we can find to pick in the beautiful Coco de Paimpol bed 4 weeks later than it should be. Oh gosh, it really is the most beautiful day today. Amazing. So, there's a perfect moment for picking your Coco de Paimpol. Hopefully any of you that have picked yours by now. So if you remember, I did a direct sowing it was at the end of the second week of May, and then about 2 days later rain started and it kept up for 2 whole weeks. The ground was sodden, and I think what happened in this bed and the chickpea bed, I mean I know it because when I re-sowed, I found them, is the seed just rotted. It was cold and wet, they just rotted. A few of them survived, just very few. They're in a little cluster at that end. I saw them developing perfectly beautifully a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I decided, well, I know that they're going to be my seed savers, so I'm not going to worry. The rest of them, so sorry, just to say, I think it was maybe into the first week of June, I kept waiting and realised there's nothing germinating. A few had, the rest weren't. So I did a backup sowing in pots. When they were big enough, they went in. So I have here about, gosh, I crammed them in, there's about 80 plants. Yeah, there's about 20 to 25 in a row, by 4 rows, between 80 and 100 plants. So my harvest, where are we? With the end of the second week, beginning of the third week of September, my harvest is at least 2 weeks late. Some of them, when they first come, I don't want to take them off to show you, but when they first come, they are a pale lime green, quite flat. Gradually that lime green turns to a sort of yellow, and you can see the beans starting to develop. That yellow then fades into a very pale cream, and this is the perfect stage. Pale cream, but with a few tiny little speckles of pinky purple on them. Perfect. Pick them before the speckles arrive. The beans aren't at their fattest. Pick them once those speckles have covered the whole pod. They're too dry and tough. So this is perfect. I'll show you a bit closer. We'll go back to the shed and I'll show you closer. But yeah, this is how to rescue a not great day. You know, it's just one of those things with, I know there are people in the world far, far, far worse off than me in terms of pain and mobility issues. But I know that there are a lot of you who also live with arthritis, and, you know, some days are better than others. This happens to be a really bad day in terms of pain. But, oh, that one's a bit early. I can show you that in the shed. Perfect example of a little bit too early. Yeah, it's, you know, it's just something you learn to live with, and And like I said about being flexible with gardening, it's the same as dealing with any sort of injury or any sort of, you know, minor disability. I'm not talking about major disabilities. You just learn, you know, when to push it and when not. And when it's a day to not push it, like today, you can still be productive. Just find something else to do that's not going to keep hammering them. I often joke, sorry, onto a different subject now, about my little stool. I need to kind of put it on wheels so I can just whoop, push myself along the road, whoop, push myself back the other way. Because I think, actually, I don't know, I think a lot of the ones that are ready, the ones that I spotted when I was trimming the grass, I think they're that side. I'm kind of comfy there, I don't want to move. Do I have to move? Oh, here's a nice little run of them. Okay, well, I'll carry on picking and then I'll reconvene us by the shed maybe to show you exactly what I mean about the perfect harvest moment. Like I said, most of you have probably harvested yours already, but for any of you who've managed to just get your seeds now for next year, I can at least show you for next year. Yeah, I have to move. Go over there. Come on, hop it. Bless him. I've just seen our Gary. He's just come over while I was sat in the Coco de Paimpol. And we've just, the pair of us had a right old moan about our bodies. Oh my goodness. Acknowledging the fact that there are people a lot worse off than us anyway. You know what, sometimes that helps, doesn't it? It just helps to talk to someone else who's not going to judge you and who's going to empathise, sympathise, what have you. Anyway, on with the picking. I'm now, excuse me, I'm now in the Gigantes. I am astonished, absolutely astonished about how quickly so many of the beans have dried. I had a quick look just before coming over here at the runners. If you remember the other day I had quite a big pick of the runners and there were loads of them that were still green and I was thinking, yeah, I'm going to leave them on, let them get a bit fatter. They've half dried already. So, yeah, one of those days to say, this wasn't the plan. I mean, it was always the plan to do some harvesting. It's that time of year. Literally every visit to the garden means some harvesting. But I think I'm probably going to be harvesting more today. Where was that one I saw? Hiding. Harvesting more than I had originally intended. I just don't want to lose any more to dry. I mean, look, I won't lose them if they're dry. Just the Gigantes are gorgeous. What I've loved about the Churchill Black is with those black pods, you can't miss them. Someone needs to invent a Gigantes that's either got a bright white pod, like the gorgeous beans inside, or a bright red pod. Can someone please invent a coloured pod Gigantes so I can see where I'm picking? Alrighty. So that's 2 sets of arches. Oh, not quite done. I'll do the next 2. Opla. Yeah, I'll do the next 2 arches and then we'll go and sit back at the shed and I can lay things on the table because I really want to show you those Coco de Paimpol and their stages. Just spotted 2 more. You know what will happen as well Sorry, you didn't hear that, did you? So you know what will happen is, on my way out in a few minutes, as I wend my way home, as I always do, I get to the top of the plot and I look back and I just fix the picture of the plot in my mind to keep me going until the next time I can be here. I'm going to look back, I'm going to see a load I've missed. It's always the way, isn't it? Right, less chat, more pick. Although, it's kind of... chatting and picking is lovely, isn't it? Just very quickly, because it reminds me. I haven't been there this year, haven't had a chance, just because of the way the year has panned out. But I've got a favourite secret foraging spot for blackberries, brambles. And one of the joys of this secret spot is there's 3 other women who all use the same spot. Just trying to remember all their various nationalities, because they're not originally from Britain. One of the ladies is Albanian, one is, I think, Georgian, and one is Polish. And I love it because invariably when I go and do one of my little forages, the other women are there too, so we're all picking, and I love it because we pick and we chat and we pick and we chat, and before you know it, you've been there picking for an hour, filled buckets and buckets with fruit, haven't even noticed the time passing or the effort of all the picking, and yeah, it's lovely. So picking and chatting, yay, more of that. Perhaps another day. Right, I'll see you back at the shed, we'll look at those pods. Oh, this is a lovely little pick. The first of the Coco de Paimpol. There's loads more of them to come. The last of the green runners that I could find. A few more of the Churchill black. A beautiful mound of gigantes. Oh, I'm going to be busy tonight. That's the courgettes from the girls next door. Thank you. And in front, I've laid out, I don't know how well it's going to pick up, the various stages. This one in the middle, this is the perfect ideal stage. This isn't too bad. This, they're going to be getting a bit gnarly. So closer up on the green, you can just see the difference in the colours, can't you? Green to pale cream. Basically, the beans won't be at their fattest. Can you see that? Actually, they're pretty fat in this one, aren't they? That should be okay. But can you see how that little purple speck is just starting, but it's nowhere else on that second pod? And this one, it's all across the bottom, and it's just starting at the top. This one, same, except now the speckles are just starting to come up. Great, that's when I want to harvest. At this stage, the speckles are all over. Oh, look how fat they are. They will just be starting to get a bit tough. So normally, if it's like that, I would leave it for seed saving. I grabbed this one off today though, because I just wanted to be able to show it to you. Oh, let's have another sit down. Oh, look, I've got a lurker.
I bought you this, see what you think of it.
What is that?
Wheat burner.
Whoa!
So just whatever you've got, just...
That's pretty, that's a pretty scary toy. Does it also work on slugs and snails?
No, I wouldn't do it on slugs and snails. But if you've got some weeds, you burn the crown of like a
yeah.
and it's my nephew's gave it to me for my birthday in January.
What a great present!
So you just 6 refills as well.
So that just screws on the gas
it just
canister,
and you just turn it on. Pizza ignition here.
Do you feel like I feel like there should be some sort of theme tune from a movie? Like I don't know.
Jokes.
There
should be an end to this, shouldn't there? Really?
Yeah.
A catchphrase or something. But I just
don't point at me.
It's okay. Just thought you might like to see it.
And then later on when you get home, you can
eco-friendly. It's not no herbicides.
Yeah, you can use it on your creme brulee.
There's a point. Yeah. At distance.
Oh my goodness, that's fab.
No, it's easy to do. I've just used it for the first time. I thought I'd
point it at. Oh, there we go. On Pat's. There's a dandelion.
Yeah.
Let's kick the.
Just do the crown. "6 inches away," and that just kills the crown off. it. That'll be deadly.
Do you know what? I'll be honest. I was expecting something a little bit more dramatic. I was kind of expecting, I don't know, a car chase and an explosion.
Yes. Yeah, something like a Russian TS whatever tank. Yes.
Oh,
No,
that's fab.
it's quite controlled. It's no herbicides. It's
That's
clean.
great.
As long as you don't set the allotment on fire,
That's
yourself
great.
on fire.
I'm going to put this down for a second and have a proper catch up. Go on. Are you having a parting shot?
If you'd like to borrow it, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, how lovely. How thoroughly lovely. Gary was just about to leave and then Kay was coming over, so Gary came back and showed Kay his new toy too, and they both hung around for a bit and we were just chatting, and obviously I've got a seat outside the shed. Yeah. That's proper brightened my mood. Getting a nice little bit of a harvest and having company, having distraction, having, like I said, having someone to have a little moan to. Just a little moan and then we're done. I'm still feeling a bit about the work I'd planned to do today that hasn't been done. But you know what? Never mind. It always comes back to the same thing, doesn't it? The important thing is the harvests. And I've harvested again today. Great. And the second most important thing is friends. Simple as that, isn't it? So a harvest and some time with friends. Yeah, I'm happy. My leg is killing me. So it's definitely time to pack up all those beans into the granny trolley. Get the old bean pods out of the granny trolley first, yeah. Pack up the granny trolley, get myself home, get myself comfy on the sofa, and enjoy an evening of podding. So, yeah, feeling good, feeling blessed, and I'll do that other work another day. Hopefully I can get back tomorrow, because that was one of the things I was saying to Gary. I was glad to bump into him to say, I am going to harvest your lavender, I just haven't had time. So maybe I can do that tomorrow. If my knee is still being a bit of a pain in the, you know what, I can harvest the lavender because it's a sit-down job. Yay! Stay flexible, folk. All right, my lovelies, I will see you again really soon, I hope. I'm not sure where or when, but I will see you again soon. So until then, please look after yourselves and look after each other. Honestly, just having a little bit of someone else for a moment is so uplifting. So if you can be someone else's someone else, be their someone else for them, even for a moment. Cheerio.